Over the years, I've found there are two different ways of bike commuting. One way is for fitness, the other way is for transportation. Today, I'm going to give you advice on how to do both of them. Hey everyone, I'm Tom and this is Shifter. A big thanks to Shifter members who help make videos like this possible. So I've been bike commuting for years now, and I found that the way I approached it has evolved over the years, so much so that I now think there are two really different approaches to bike commuting. One we'll call the fitness ride, and this is a ride where your primary motivation is to get in a workout. You really want to push yourself, you want to go fast. The other approach we'll call transportation, but it's really about the efficiency of a bike in an urban setting. Your goal is just to get to work in a way that's efficient and inexpensive and enjoyable. Okay, let's get into it. Longtime viewers of this channel know that I love to say that the best type of bike for a bike commute is any bike that you've got. Anything can work, just get on and ride. But if you're looking to take the next steps, the type of bike you choose can make a big difference. Let's start with the fitness ride. For this, you probably want a bike that's a little bit faster, or one that's built for speed and athletics. For most of you, this probably means a road bike or a gravel bike or a bike with these drop handlebars that will get you down into a more aggressive riding position. It's hard to describe, but when you get on these bikes, they just want to go fast. They almost just push you. That's why they're so fun. For this video, I was riding my new Priority Gemini, which is a gravel adventure bike, and it's so much fun to ride. One thing I've come to love about Priority bikes over the past couple of years of their sponsorship is the belt drive and internal gears. They are super low maintenance bikes, which I really love as a commuter, because when you're riding them every day, you don't want to have to worry about cleaning and tinkering to make sure it runs. You just want it to work. I mean, technically any bike can be a speedy bike as long as you push yourself. I just find a bike like this makes it a bit easier and a bit more fun. This is me riding my Priority 8, which I've modded with some more laid back, swept back handlebars. This bike also has a belt drive and an internal gear system, but this one has a Shimano 8 rather than that Pinion Smart Shift gearbox. Both are great, but the Shimano has a little bit fewer gears and is a little bit more affordable. You may also notice some other things about this bike. It has a rack for carrying stuff. My body position is more upright and relaxed. This may not look like much different than I am on the Gemini, but it does put me in a completely different frame of mind, and I find myself riding this bike totally differently. We'll get into more details later, but the point here is that the type of bike you ride can have a huge impact on the way you ride and on your total approach to your commute. This is what I wore for my athletic ride. I've got cycling pants down below. I've got a sweat wicking shirt underneath here, and then a outer shell that's both a little bit windproof, a little bit waterproof. I've got my backpack on, and I've got my cycling shoes. They clip into the pedals on here. All this is for speed and efficiency. I know I want to get a workout. I know I'm going to sweat, and so I'm dressing for sports. And riding for speed feels a little bit riskier to me, and so I wear my helmet. And so these are all the things I ride in order to get a workout and fitness on my way to work. And here's what I wear on my transportation ride. Basically, it's the same thing I wear to the office. That's pretty much it. I try to keep it as simple as possible. Because I'm wearing the same clothes I'm going to wear all day at work, I just slow my pedaling down and try to keep my exertion level below where I'm about to sweat. It's easier on these cool fall days, but on the hotter days, sometimes what I'll do is wear a short sleeve shirt, pack my office shirt, and then swap them up when I arrive in the office. But I really try to keep it as simple as possible and not pack anything unnecessary. You'll notice on my feet, I just have my office shoes. I don't have clip-in pedals. I don't think it's necessary. I actually question whether you ever need clip-in pedals on a commute, but I certainly don't want to be clip-clopping through the office. I'll talk a bit more about this later, but the way that I ride and the route that I choose means I feel very safe without wearing a helmet. But that's, of course, a personal choice, but also helps when I get to the office that I don't have to worry about my hair, which is a consideration for some people. Let's dive into the fitness ride first. Now, you might not be able to see this on camera, but there's a size difference in these bags. Both of these are great convertible backpack panniers from Two Wheel Gear, a great friend of this channel. This one is 30 liters, this one is 22 liters. 30 liters, why? Because on the fitness ride, I had a lot more stuff to pack. Okay, let's see what I've got on the fitness ride. So, of course, I've got my computer, which I need for work all day long. Because I've dressed for fitness, I have to bring all of my office clothes. So I've got a jacket here. Here is my lunch. And of course, the best lunch you can have is a can of beans. I have my accessories, cords, earbuds, that kind of thing. I put them all in this little bag, which is kind of like a toiletries bag, but I like to keep them all contained. More clothes. There's my shirt. I also have to bring everything, a belt, shoes as well. This is a nice little shoe bag from Two Wheel Gear as well. It certainly helps keep them if they're a little bit dirty. Keeps it off the rest of my clothing. Of course, because when I get to work, I'm going to be sweaty. I need to clean up. So I've also got my shower items. I've got some shampoo in here and some soap. So that's another thing I have to bring. I also have this quick dry towel. And lastly, in my bag, I've got a lock. A lot of people who ride fitness and speedy bikes don't want to weigh the bikes down with stuff. So I throw this in my bag. I also like to pack a repair kit whenever I go. On my Gemini, I do have it in that saddle bag. Now that it's packed up, I've got my luggage scale. Let's weigh this thing. What have we got here? This is about 20 pounds, about 9 kilograms. So that is the weight of the bag on the fitness ride, 20 pounds. Okay, here's the bag for the transportation ride. Let's check the contents of this. Of course, we still need a computer, so that's been packed up in the computer sleeve of this bag. Much less stuff. We've got my lunch, my delicious beans, of course, the accessories bag, and that's it. I mean, everything else I'm wearing, I bring with me. I do have the repair kit in the outside pouch here. Sometimes I throw a little extra snack. There's still room for like an extra jacket if it's a cold day, but it's a much easier packing job than bringing everything for the cleanup and the changing in the other method. This one, it's about 11 pounds. 11 pounds, about 5 kilograms, so almost half the weight of the other bag. Now you may think riding a bike is riding a bike, but that's not often the case. The type of riding can be very different from one ride to the next. The fitness commute feels like an athletic endeavor. I'm pushing myself hard, I'm standing up on the pedals, I'm breathing hard, I'm sweating. It's fun, it's thrilling, it's a rush. And there are spillover effects to this as well. As a consequence of riding it like this, I find that I'm much more aggressive in the way that I ride. And I even choose the route a little bit differently when I'm looking to go quickly. I tend to avoid the multi-use pathways, which are full of slow pedestrians, and even sometimes bike lanes feel a little bit too slow when I'm like this. I go on the roads, which means I'm mixing more with automobiles, and it just feels riskier. And while I'm riding this way, I find I'm super focused on my ride and keeping my pace going. And I think this is good. I think a lot of us, we probably need more hyper-focused times in our lives without distractions everywhere. So I think that's kind of good, but it does mean that I'm less aware of my surroundings. Like for example, on this ride, I passed my friend Katie. By the time my brain broke my focus and processed what I just saw, I was a block and a half past her and I missed my chance to say hello or even stop and chat. I also have this heavy bag on my back. It does wear on my back. I could feel the strain on it near the end of my ride. And it did track my time and speed on both types of commutes on the same route. For the fitness ride, I did it in 24 minutes and 31 seconds with a pace of 25.8 kilometers per hour. The transportation ride is a totally different riding experience. It's slow, it's relaxed, it's upright. I love to take in what's going on around me. I often stop to look at things, or it's easy to stop into the shop and pop in and buy things on the way home. Here, if I was to see Katie, I probably would have stopped and said hello and had a little chat with her. And the key part is, yes, it still allows me to decompress, get a bit of activity, and get out of my head at the end of a workday so I can transition back into home. And maybe my favorite part about riding this way is getting the bag off of my back. These convertible pannier backpacks are great. This one flips around and it's got hooks for your rack. You put it on there. I just love getting that weight off of my back and onto the bike where I barely even notice it. And when I ride like this, I also tend to choose different routes. I choose safety over speed. Sometimes I'll go find the safe protected bike lane, even if it's a few blocks out of the way. I'm really lucky that on my commute, I can avoid cars almost the entire route. Almost all of it is either on multi-use pathways or separated bike lanes, which makes me feel really safe. And that's why I feel safe enough to choose not to wear a helmet. Of course, like I said before, that's a personal choice. The trade-off is, yes, of course, I'm not getting the fitness benefit like I would on the fast ride. I still get activity. I would say it's probably the kind of activity your doctor wants you to do, just like everyday activity, getting some motion in, just enough to get your heart rate going and staying active and healthy. So it has absolutely amazing health benefits. It probably just doesn't make me as strong or as fit or increase my VO2 max as much as it would if I'm really pushing it on my fast fitness ride. How much slower was this type of riding? Well, on this day, my ride was 28 minutes and 39 seconds with an average pace of 22 kilometers per hour. So it's definitely slower, but is it that much slower? Maybe not that much slower. There are actually some pretty big differences between the two types of riding when you get to your destination. On my fitness ride, when I arrive to the office, the first thing I think about is do I want to lock this bike up outside? Now this is a really nice bike, And I don't feel that comfortable leaving it outside because I feel it's going to get stolen even if it's locked up. So I'm lucky enough that my employer doesn't mind if I bring this up. I'm also lucky that I have a shower in my office. So I pop in there, take my sweaty clothes off, hang them to dry, clean up in the shower, put my nice clothes on, get ready for work, and then hit the desk, and then I'm ready to work. And at the end of the day, I've got to go back in there, do the reverse, put those clothes, which are often usually still sweaty, put them back on. It's a little bit gross, but whatever. And then head back home. Okay, on the transportation ride, I arrive at work, I find a parking space, and I lock up my bike. I like to use this Abus Bordeaux folding lock. It's pretty good security for this bike, but also very convenient. Why do I feel comfortable locking this bike up and not the other one? This one's just built for practicality. Like, I need to use it. It needs to be out there. I need to lock it up everywhere. And so I have a whole approach to locking bikes that is in a different video that I'll share the link to down below. But I feel comfortable locking this one downstairs, and I take my bag up to the office and I'm good to go. That's it. I get to the office and I'm ready to work. So there you go, 2 different styles of bike commuting. Which one is best? Well, of course, that's totally up to you. Both are amazing. I'd also say these are 2 ends of a spectrum, and you will probably find yourself somewhere in the middle. There really is no right answer. It's what works for you and your ride. Either way, remember, the worst day bike commuting is still better than the best day car commuting. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.